Hi, my name is Candace, aka Picasso Baby, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create your very own Easter egg hunt painting. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for stopping back by to paint with me today. So today we're going to be creating a super fun and super simple painting. We are going to be making our very own Easter egg hunt paintings. I know we normally do like 18 and up or 21 and up paintings on this channel, but I want to do something super fun for the kiddies and for the parents that follow me. So this painting is perfect for all ages. So before we get started, as always, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so that you don't miss the next tutorial. And we're going to go ahead and go over all of the supplies that we need for today's painting. So as always, I am working with a 16 by 20 inch canvas. You can use the canvas size of your choice. It is completely up to you. You also want to make sure that you have some different sized acrylic brushes, some napkins to dry your brushes off on. You want to make sure that you have a water cup with some cool water to wash your brushes. And then I am working with acrylic paint, and I'm using the colors chrome yellow, titanium white, burnt sienna, bright red, phthalo blue, and Mars black. So you just want to make sure you got all of your supplies, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do to get my painting started, I want to lay out my background. And because we're doing an Easter egg hunt theme, of course, we want to make it an outside background with some grass. So what I'm going to do first, I am going to take some blue, and I'm using a bigger size flat brush. So you just want to make sure you grab a bigger brush. And I'm taking some of my blue. And what I'm going to do, I want to divide my canvas. I'm not going to divide it exactly in half. I'm going to go a little bit below half. So if my half mark is there, I'm going to go just a little bit further down because I want more sky than I have grass. So again, you want to make sure that you move your line down a bit. Once you have your line, all we're going to do to get the sky filled in, I'm going to keep using that blue, but I'm also going to be picking up white because I do want this to be lighter. Of course, when we are outside doing the egg hunts, it is pretty light outside. So I am going to be picking up white and just a little bit of blue and getting everything above this line completely filled in. All right, now once you have your entire top half filled in, you got all of your sky filled in, we are going to go ahead and get the bottom filled in. And I'm just going to fill the bottom half with green. I'm just going to paint it in for now. We are going to add a little bit more of a grass texture later on, but for now we're just going to paint it. So what I want to do, I'm not washing my brush. I am going to take some of my yellow and some of my blue, and I'm just mixing it right on my plate. And I am doing equal parts because I want it to be a bit of a darker green to start out with. So I'm doing equal parts yellow, equal parts blue. And once you have that green mixed up, all you're going to do is fill in everything below your sky. So you do want to make sure also that that blue line that we started with is completely gone. You want to get right next to your sky with this grass color, and we're just going to fill this completely in. Right. Now once you have the grass completely filled in, before we can add anything else, we do have to give this about 10 to 15 minutes to dry. That way we can come back and start to add on more details. So during our drying break, as always, make sure you just take a step back. If you want to grab something to drink, grab some snacks, you can definitely do that. Or if you don't feel like waiting, you can always grab a blow dryer. Make sure you blow dry it on the cool setting, and then you'll be able to start on the next step. So we're just going to take a quick break, and we'll start back in a few on the next steps together. paintings are completely dry, we are going to go ahead and go in and add some eggs. Now, I'm going to do about 3 eggs. You can do as many or as few as you want. You can make them the size that you want. It's completely up to you. But I'm going to switch over to more of a round brush. If you are comfortable with your flat brush, you can keep using it. But I'm switching to more of a rounded brush. And I'm going to be using a few different colors. I want to use more Easter kind of pastel colors. So the first color that I am going to use, I am going to mix up some yellow and white to make my yellow a little bit more pastel. And I'm going to throw a yellow egg right in the center. And one thing that I'm making sure to do, you do want to make sure that you kind of put it down in the grass a bit. And it doesn't have to be standing up perfectly. If you want to tilt it over a bit, it's completely up to you. But I am just putting my first one right here in the center. And I'm going to get that filled in. And now I want to do like more of a pastel kind of pink one, a lighter pink one. So I'm going to mix up white and a little bit of red. And I didn't wash my brush, but you definitely can wash your brush off if you want to make sure you have like a really true pink. So I'm mixing up again red and white to make my pink. And I'm going to place an egg right here on the side. And again, these do not have to be the same size. If you want them to be different sizes, it's completely up to you. But I'm going to place an egg right here on the side. And just fill that egg in. And for my third egg, and again, I'm just doing 3. You can do as many or as few as you want. But for my third egg, I am going to do a purple egg. So I am going to take, and I'm not washing my brush, but you definitely can wash yours. I'm moving over a little bit of blue, some red, and some white right on my plate. I am going to mix all of those to get the shade that I want. And just keep in mind, when you're mixing purple, the more blue you use, the darker it will be. The more red you use, the lighter it'll be. And I did add white because I'm going for, again, a pastel Easter color. And I'm going to actually lay this one all the way down a bit. So I'm going to get that completely filled in. Now, once you get them filled in, if you like, like the classic look of eggs, if you just like them to be colored, then you can definitely leave them as is. I am going to actually add some designs on mine. But before I add some designs, I'm actually also going to add another layer of the color of it on. So I'm going to do another layer of paint. And before I can do that second layer, I do have to let these dry. But while they are drying, we can work on some other details. So because we do have these outside in the grass, I am going to add in just like a butterfly and a couple of little flowers. You can add in, again, whatever extra details you want because this is your painting. But I am going to, since I already have this purple on my brush, I'm going to add a little more white to it to lighten it up a bit more. And I'm still using my same round brush. If you are working with a flat brush, you do want to switch over to a round brush, whether it be big or small. You just want it to be round. And right over here, I'm going to make a dot to kind of start with. And from there, I'm going to do 4 wings. So it's almost like I'm making like 4 little ovals, like I'm putting 4 little eggs clustered together. And my bottom wings are a little bit smaller. So when you're doing that shape, you do want to do the top a little bit bigger, bottom a little bit smaller. And I have that purple one there, but I do want to make an orange one too. I want to make another color to give this painting a little more color. So what I'm going to do, I'm washing this brush off, and right on my plate, I'm going to take some of my red and mix it with some of my yellow. Because again, I am making a orange color, and I'm also going to add in a little bit of white. And just keep in mind, for your orange, unless you're just using the color orange right out, if you are making it, keep in mind the more red you use, the darker your orange is going to be. The more yellow you use, the brighter your orange is going to be. So I use just a little bit of red, some yellow, and then also some white. And what I'm going to do for this one, I actually want to make it look like the butterfly landed on this Easter egg since it's laying down. So what I'm going to do right above the Easter egg, I'm going to curve a line like that. So almost like I kind of made an oval on top of it. And then for the second line, I'm going to curve it like that. And all I want to do is get it completely filled in. Now, for now, we just want the color of the butterflies on there. We're not gonna worry about the details, like the body, the antennas, or anything like that just yet. We're just gonna let the colors dry. But I am gonna add in a couple of little flowers. So I'm gonna keep using the same brush. So you do want to make sure that you wash it out really well. And I want to do like some little daisies. Now again, you can do whatever color you want. It is completely up to you. But I'm going to go into my yellow, and I am going to keep it the yellow and white mixture. I'm going to keep using that, the same one I used for this, but I'm going to add a little more yellow because I want the flowers to be just a little bit brighter than the actual egg is. So this is more like pastel. I want the yellow to be a little bit brighter. So what I'm going to do, wherever you want to place a flower, all I'm doing is pressing my brush down to make 5 petals. Now so again, I press it and pull towards the center 5 times to make those little petals. Now if you want to actually draw it, so for example, let's say we had a little one over here, you can start with a dot and you're going to do little circles, and I always like to do at least 4, 5 max because they're little daisies. But like over here, I just did 4. I'm going to do another one that's going to kind of be coming up out of the grass. So for that one, I did 5. And I'm going to do another small one right next to it. And once you have all of those little details in, so we just have like the base color of all of the details in, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start to go back in on the eggs to get those colors a little bit thicker. That way the details that we add on top of them will shine bright. So because I still have yellow on my brush, I'm going to go back into yellow and white, adding a little more white in so that I go back to my original color. And I am just going to add this right on. And I am going to wash my brush this time. I'm going to go back into my pink egg. So I'm going back into my red and white mixture. And if you don't have any more, you just want to mix up some white and a little bit of red again on your plate. And I'm just going to go back over what I already had. You know, growing up, Easter eggs were something that you looked forward to, like absolutely loved. You wanted to know what kind of candy was in it. If you were lucky, there might have been a dollar bill in there, maybe even a 5. Now, what I always look forward to as a kid, because some of the older adults will always pop in like a gold dollar, like a coin, and I just thought that you were super lucky if you got that. So I used to absolutely love to get those. Nowadays, you know, I don't look forward to the candy as much because I'm not really big on chocolate. I like more like gummy and sour candies and things like that. But I don't know who created this idea, but I love when my friends and the adults in my life decide to do it. Easter egg hunts for adults, where the eggs have, you know, again, money in them, where they have little shots of adult beverages in them. I love those. So I'm always excited to hear about an adult Easter egg hunt now. But what I'm going to do next, I am going to go into my purple. If you don't have any more, you just want to make a little bit more, because you do want to add another layer of your purple on. So I'm just going right on top of this. And again, we do have to let those dry before we can actually start to add little details on those. But while those are drying, I am going to go back and add an extra layer on top of some of the other details that were a little bit kind of sheer. And if yours weren't, you definitely can skip this part. You do not have to add another layer on, but I'm going to go back in with some orange on my butterfly. My purple butterfly was fine, but I'm going to add a little more orange on my orange butterfly. And I'm also going to add a little bit more yellow on my flowers. So I'm going to go back into that yellow mixture. But remember, we don't want it to be as light as this yellow for the egg. We want it to be a little bit brighter, not as pastel. So I'm going to go back in on each petal. And one thing you can also do, and I'll show you what it will look like if you decide to do this, you can even pick up yellow and white at the same time and allow them to create a really pretty flower for you. So I'm picking up yellow and white, and all I'm going to do is press my brush down, and you can see how it kind of creates a little bit more of a detailed flower. Same thing over here. And now that we have all of those in there, I'm not going to wash my brush. While these are drying, before we can like add on the details and stuff, I'm going to go back in and add some more grass texture. So we do already have the color of the grass. Now, if you like this grass as is, you can definitely skip this next step. You do not have to do this part. But I actually do want to add some grass texture, and I also want to add some stems to my flowers. So I am going to, again, keep using this bigger round brush. But for my stems, I am going to use a bit of a smaller brush. And I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do for those. So I'm going to grab this smaller brush, and I'm going to go back into my green mixture. This time, I want to make it a little bit lighter because I want it to stand out against this green that we already have. So I am adding more yellow into it. And you can even add a little bit of white into the mixture. So I'm going to go in with the smaller brush first, the smaller round brush, and I'm going to add my stems in. So you just want to find a point on the bottom of your flower and pull a line down into the grass. So for example here, I am going to actually go behind that flower, very carefully pulling it next to my egg. flowers, more butterflies. You can do as many as you like. This is your painting. So same thing here, pulling that down. And now that I have those on there, what I'm gonna start to do, and I'm gonna start, I'm not gonna start all the way from the bottom. I'm gonna start about midway in the grass. I'm gonna start to go throughout and pull lines right up. And you see how I'm kind of going up above the grass line? Because I want you to be able to see these grass pieces. And I'm even going right up on the bottoms of the eggs. I'm not taking it very far, but I am overlapping the eggs a little bit. And if you pick up some of the paint color, it's okay. It'll blend right in. Just keep moving. I'm even going to go ahead and add a little bit of white to my brush to get even more different colored grass so that you can see the different texture. To this side to add a little white in. Now, again, when I did that part, I didn't start all the way from the bottom of the canvas. I started about halfway through. So right now you can still see all of the regular green paint going across the bottom, right? So what I'm going to do to get that filled in, I am going to keep using more green and the green we just made, and also a little bit of white. And now this time I'm going to start from the bottom and take it up to the bottom of that first layer of grass. So for example, so you can see it a little more, start from the bottom and now go up to the first layer of grass. And you'll see it will start to get filled in, and you will have some beautiful looking grass going on. And it doesn't have to be completely covered. If some of that green is still coming through, that is completely fine. You definitely want that. You don't want to cover it up completely. You just want to make a little bit of texture. And as you're doing this, keep in mind, all of them do not have to be the same height. They don't have to go the same direction. If you want some to be smaller, or even to go back in with like a little bit of white and make some shorter ones, you definitely can. This grass does not have to be uniform. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to get that grass texture going on. So once you feel like you have as much or as little of the grass that you want, all I'm going to do now, I'm going to start to work on my purple butterfly and also my flowers. If your painting is not dry, like if it's super shiny still, that means that it's wet. So you don't want to start to add any details onto it until it's no longer shiny. So if you do need to take a break, you definitely can take a drying break, or you can grab a blow dryer and blow dry it. But my purple butterfly is dry because I didn't add a second layer on it. So I'm going to go into that butterfly first. So what I'm going to do, I am going to go in with black, and I want to start to kind of add in the details of my butterfly. So the first thing I want to do is right down the middle, I want to pull a line, and I am going to extend that line past the body a little bit. So I didn't, at the top I stayed inside of the butterfly. At the bottom I pulled it out a little bit. Now at the top I am going to go in and make a little circle. And of course we have to give it some antennas. You can do a regular little curved line. If you want to do more of like a little line with a Susie Q with a little curl, it's completely up to you. Go in and make those match. And then what I'm going to do to even give it more detail, I'm going to outline this. So I'm going to outline this butterfly. So I'm outlining all 4 wings in black paint. And then I'm going to add even more detail by, I'm going to add like a couple of dots onto my butterfly. So I'm not going to use the front end. I'm actually going to go ahead and use the back end. Since the back of my brush is already round, I'm going to use the back end to make the perfect size dots. Now, if the back end of your brush is not round, then you definitely can use the bristle side. You don't have to flip it over. But if it is round, just use the back end of your brush because it's so much easier to make those perfect little dots. And I'm doing dots inside of each wing. And I'm still working with black. But I'm also going to add some white dots in. So to add my white dots, you do need to wipe the end of your brush off. And now I'm going to go in with some white. And you can kind of put them like right next to each other if you want to space them out. It's completely up to you. And you can do as many or as few as you want. It doesn't have to be equal amounts of black and white. You just want to go get a nice little contrast going. And I'm also going to add some white highlights. So I'm going to, again, clean the back of my brush. But I'm also going to wash my brush off. And I'm going to go in on the bristle end with a little bit of white. And like on the head, you can add a little bit of white on the body, on the outline of the wings. And I'm just simply doing that by just following the shape that's already there. Just to give it a little bit of a highlight. Nothing too special. But again, that's how I'm going to do that first butterfly. Now, the next thing I'm going to go into my flowers. And I'm not going to wash my brush. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a little bit of that brown that I have. And I'm also going to pick up a little bit of black. And I want to create the centers of my flowers by just basically tapping my brush down. So I'm going to make a bit of a small circle in the middle by tapping my brush down to look like the center of actual flowers or like seeds in the center of a flower. And again, I'm using brown and black. You could use green for this part. You can use white. You can use the color of your choice. I am just using a little bit of brown and black to make it look a bit more realistic. So even here in my small flower, and then I'm going to do this last flower over here. All right. Now, once you're done with that, I am going to go into my orange butterfly next. So I'm going to keep using this smaller brush. Just want to make sure I wash it off. I'm going to go back into black by itself. And this time, I am going to make the wing a little bit of a different shape. Now, if you like the shape how it is, you can leave it as is. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to again create the body and the head and stuff first. So right underneath, right on top of the egg, I'm just going to draw a line. And remember to extend it past the back of the body a little bit. At the front of the body, make a little head. Pull out 2 little lines. Now, what I'm going to do as far as the wing, if you like this shape, then all you want to do is outline it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to outline it first, and then towards the back of the actual wing, and I'm going to outline both wings first. So if you like it like that, you can leave it as is. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go towards the back of the wing. So I'm going to start about halfway up this wing. I'm going to pull a line to a point, and then I'm going to pull a line down. I'm going to do the same thing here. And you can start right here from where the 2 wings meet. Pull a line out to a point. Pull it back into the body. And I'm just going to fill that space in. The same thing back here. So now my butterfly wings have more of a point to them. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go in and add a few dots. I don't want my dots to be perfect this time. Like, I don't want them to be perfect circles. So I am going to use the front end of my brush. But if you like the way the back end comes out, you can definitely switch to using the back end. But all I'm going to do is add very little dots towards the front or the inside of the wing. Very, very little. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. I'm just going to do that many. But I'm also going to add some to the outside, to the black part of the wing. And I'm going to do that with white. Now this time I do want it to be really nice circles. So I am going to use the back end of the brush. And I'm just going to go like on the outside of the wing. And make some little dots. And you can do as many or as few of these as you like. It's completely up to you. But once you have that, I'm going to leave that butterfly like that. And I'm just going to wipe the end of my brush off. And I'm going to go back into my bigger round brush. So my more like a medium size or bigger round brush. If you like to working with the smaller brush, you can definitely keep using that. Because what we're going to do next is add the details onto our Easter eggs. So they're going to be super, super simple. You can add whatever you like. It's completely up to you. But the first one that I want to do some light blue swirls on my yellow egg. So I'm mixing up blue and just a very small amount of white. I don't want it to be as light as the sky. So I'm just mixing a little bit of white. And I'm just going to go throughout my egg. And I start like I'm making a circle. But then I move outside of the circle to make a little swirl. And you can do as many or as few of these as you like. Now when I used to actually decorate real Easter eggs, I don't think we painted too many, details on them. Kids now, they definitely do a lot more, have a lot more fun with it. But we definitely used to dye them. My mom used to let us dye as many as we wanted. She used to get us little stickers, little egg holders, they were made out of like cardboard, and you would form them into a circle. You could stick your little eggs inside of them. And it was always such a good time. I absolutely loved it. And I still love doing it with my nieces and my nephew now. It's always a good time. So you can do as many or as few of those as you like. It's completely up to you. But once you feel like you have enough of those, we're going to move to the next one. So I'm going to move to the pink one. And for the pink one, I am going to do some zigzag lines. And since I have pink already, I want to kind of contrast with some red. So since I have that lighter pink, I'm going to do this darker red, just the red by itself. Or if you want more burgundy, you can mix up red and a little bit of black. And all I'm going to do is start at the top. And I am going to create zigzag lines from one side of the egg to the other. And I'm going to do a few of these lines. So I'm going to do one here. And I'm going to move down and do a little one there. Since the grass is kind of cutting it off a bit. Now we have one egg left. And I think I just want to do something really simple with that egg. I'm going to do some dots. And I'm going to do white dots, pretty much circles. I'm going to do white dots so that it stands out against the purple. You can do whatever color you like. It's completely up to you. And I'm just going to do a few of them. So I'm really just making circles and filling them in. And with these, you do want to make sure that you kind of scatter them apart. They don't have to be perfectly uniformed. Put one up here by our beautiful butterfly. Do a small one there. One there. Now I'm going to try to fit one down where the grass is overlapping. Just put a little bit of white there so it looks like the white dot is covered by the grass. So once you are completely finished and you have filled in all of your eggs, all of your details, if there's any extra that you want to add, you definitely can add whatever you like to really make this your own. But the last thing you want to make sure to do before you are completely finished is to simply sign your name. So I'm just going to sign my initials right here in the corner. You can sign your initials, your name, your signature, however you like. It is completely up to you. And then you have your very own Easter egg hunt painting. Thank you all so much for painting with me. I hope you enjoy your Easter egg hunt paintings and that you have an amazing Easter holiday with your family, friends, and loved ones. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any painting suggestions that you would like to do with me, make sure you leave them down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.